The year was 2142. Earth had changed. Nations no longer fought each other. The world had united under one banner, the Global Space Alliance. Humanity now looked toward the stars, not for conquest, but for connection. Commander Alex Voss stood on the bridge of the Horizon Star, the lead vessel of the Alliance's deep space fleet. Tall, with sharp blue eyes and a calm presence, Voss was known not for war, but for peace. His mission was simple: respond to a strange distress signal coming from the edge of the Orion Belt. "Commander, we've isolated the signal," said Lieutenant Mara Lin, his communications officer. "It's not human. It's alien." The bridge fell silent. "Play it," Voss said. A low hum echoed through the speakers. Then a pulse. Slow, steady, almost like a heartbeat. Then static. Then silence. Voss stared at the screen. The coordinates showed a dead zone in space, a place with no colonies or stations. "Any signs of danger?" he asked. "None, sir. But the signal loops every 7 minutes. Someone or something is still there." Voss nodded. "Plot a course. Full diplomatic protocol. We're not going to fight. We're going to help." As the Horizon Star jumped to light speed, Voss stood by the window, watching the stars blur into streams of light. He thought about his mission. First contact was always imagined as a moment of fear or war. But what if it wasn't? What if it began with kindness? 12 hours later, the fleet dropped out of light speed near the edge of the Orion Belt. The sight before them was unlike anything they had ever seen. A massive fleet of alien ships, dark, sharp, and silent, floated in space. Some ships were clearly damaged. Fires flickered in broken hulls. Others drifted, powerless. There were no signs of movement. Voss's heart beat faster. "Are we detecting any life signs?" he asked. "Thousands," Mara replied. "They're alive." "Barely." Voss leaned forward. "Open a channel. Let's speak." They waited. No answer. Again, they transmitted the message. "This is Commander Alex Voss of the Global Space Alliance. We are here in peace. We see that your fleet is damaged. We offer help." Still, no answer. Then the screen flickered. An alien appeared. He had gray skin, glowing red eyes, and wore sharp black armor. His voice was deep and filled with warning. "This is General Kralek of the Zarn Dominion. We do not accept your aid. Leave this system at once, or be seen as hostile." The screen went black. The crew stared in shock. "They're in trouble," Voss said, "but they'd rather die than ask for help." He stood tall, eyes steady. "We're not leaving. Prepare medical and supply drones. We'll send help, even if they don't want it yet." The stars around them were cold and distant. But Voss believed in something warmer: hope. The human fleet hovered just outside the damaged Zarn formation. Dozens of alien ships drifted without power. Some rotated slowly, their engines cold and cracked. Others leaked vapor or showed signs of burn damage. The fleet looked like it had been through a battle, but no enemy was in sight. Inside the Horizon Star, Commander Alex Voss stood at the center of the bridge. He studied the alien formation with narrowed eyes. "Any movement?" he asked. Lieutenant Mara Lin scanned the readings. "Minimal. Life support on a few ships is barely holding. We're detecting low oxygen and power loss." "Still no response to our aid offer?" She shook her head. "Just that one message from General Kralek. Since then, nothing." Voss folded his arms. "They're dying, and they still told us to leave." The screen flashed again. A new message came through, audio only. "Human Commander," said Kralek's voice, cold and firm. "We are the Zarn Dominion. We do not beg. We do not depend on outsiders. Turn back. We will survive without you." Then silence. "Pride," said Voss quietly. "They think accepting help is weakness." Dr. Henry Sato, the fleet's chief medical officer, stepped forward. "Commander, we can't ignore this. If their oxygen levels drop any lower, hundreds could die within hours." Voss nodded. "We're not leaving." He turned to his crew. "Prepare unarmed medical drones. No weapons, no scans, no tech except what's needed. We send aid, quietly and respectfully." "Sir," Mara said, "they might destroy the drones." "Then we try again," Voss replied. Minutes later, the first drone was launched. It moved slowly toward the nearest Zarn ship, carrying oxygen tanks, basic food packs, and emergency power cells. It had no offensive systems and made no scans. Everyone watched. The drone reached the Zarn ship and latched onto its side. A long pause followed. Then a small hatch opened on the alien ship. The drone was taken inside. No explosions. No alarms. They accepted it, Mara said quietly. Voss let out a slow breath. Good. They sent 4 more drones. 2 were accepted. 2 were ignored. On the 5th attempt, something new happened. A faint signal was received from one of the smaller Zarn ships. It was weak and scrambled, not sent through official channels. It wasn't from Kralek. Can you clean it up? Voss asked. Mara worked quickly. Static cleared. A young, nervous voice came through. This is Technician Tevek of Ship Z7. I'm not authorized to speak, but I want to thank you. My crew was starving. You saved them. Please be careful. Not all in our fleet trust you. The message ended abruptly. Voss stood still. There are cracks in their wall, he said. Not everyone agrees with Kralek. Dr. Sato nodded. If we can reach more like Tevek, we might earn their trust. Trust takes time, Voss replied. But we've made the first move. Outside, the 2 fleets floated in silence, still strangers. But now, something small had shifted. A line had been crossed, not with weapons, but with kindness. Commander Alex Voss stood on the observation deck, staring out at the quiet Zarn fleet. The stars beyond were still, but the space between the ships felt heavy with tension. Any change in their formation? He asked. Lieutenant Mara Lin checked her display. No. Still holding position. Engines off. Shields minimal. They've accepted 3 more drones, but haven't responded. Voss nodded. They're watching us. Testing us. Below deck, the Alliance engineering team had started analyzing the drone returns. Each medical pod included small transmitters that showed environmental conditions, oxygen levels, pressure, temperature. The data painted a clear picture. The Zarn fleet was failing. Life support was unstable. Power was low. Food was almost gone. They won't last another week out here, said Dr. Sato in the next meeting. Without full power, their ships will freeze. Voss remained calm, but his jaw tightened. We need to talk to Kralek. Again, they sent another message. Clear, honest, respectful. General Kralek, we are here in peace. We offer assistance only. No weapons. No traps. If you prefer no contact, say so, but lives are at risk. An hour passed. Then 2. Just as the crew started to think there would be no reply, the bridge lights dimmed. An incoming signal blinked on the screen. Kralek appeared again. His face was hard. Behind him, faint sparks from damaged consoles lit the dark bridge of his ship. You speak of peace, yet your machines scan our systems. You study us. Voss stepped forward. Only basic life support readings. We don't need your secrets. We only want to help keep your people alive. Your help comes with a price, Kralek said. No deals. Just aid. Kralek's eyes narrowed. Zarn do not depend on the mercy of others. Weakness in Vitisva. Voss paused. It's not weakness to protect your people. Mercy is not surrender. The screen went black. Mara turned. That didn't go well. No, Voss agreed. But he didn't cut the channel right away. He's listening. Just then, alarms sounded. Commander, a technician shouted. Defense drones from one of the Zarn ships are moving. Voss rushed to the main screen. A pair of sharp, spiked drones had launched from a damaged cruiser. They headed straight for one of the medical drones returning to the Horizon Star. No weapons, Voss ordered. Hold position. The drones closed in, then scanned the pod, paused and returned to their ship. No damage, Mara said. Just a warning. Voss frowned. They're testing our reaction, seeing if we'll fight back. Later that night, another hidden message came through. It was Tevek again. I warned you. Some in our fleet believe you're here to take control. They say you poison our ships to weaken us. I don't believe it. But Kralek, he listens to them. The message paused. Be careful. There are rumors. A few want to strike first. That changed everything. Voss called an emergency meeting with the fleet captains. We've done what we can from a distance. But if factions inside the Zarn fleet are pushing for conflict, we need to act carefully. We can't risk a battle, especially not with those who might still trust us. One of the captains, a stern woman named Harlow, spoke. Do we pull back? Voss shook his head. No, we do the opposite. We move closer, not with weapons, but with light supplies, food. We show them we aren't afraid, and we don't intend to leave. Some officers exchanged glances. It was risky, but no one argued. The human fleet adjusted its formation, inching closer to the broken Zarn ships, leaving supply pods visible, lights glowing calmly. They offered help without saying a word. In the quiet dark, two fleets floated side by side. The distance between them was growing smaller. The human fleet moved slowly, inching closer to the damaged Zarn ships. No weapons, no shields, just lights glowing calmly and supply drones floating between the two sides like silent messengers. Inside the Horizon Star, Commander Alex Voss watched the main screen. He could see the worn hulls of the Zarn cruisers, their scars clear now. Some ships looked barely held together. Others showed signs of emergency repairs made with scrap. We're getting stronger readings from one of their ships, said Lieutenant Marlin. Looks like they've powered up part of their life support. Voss nodded. Our supplies helped. That's progress. Dr. Henry Sato joined him on the bridge. Our latest drones included water, protein rations, and emergency oxygen filters. They took all of it. They're still not talking, Voss said. No, but they're listening. Hours passed. The humans kept working, repairing drones, sending medical kits, monitoring the Zarn ships from a respectful distance. Then a message arrived. It wasn't from General Kralek. It was from Technician Tevek. Commander Voss, Tevek said in a low voice, I'm risking everything by speaking to you again. But your help is saving lives. Quietly, more of us are seeing it. Voss leaned closer. Kralek is under pressure, Tevek continued. Some officers accuse him of weakness for accepting aid. Others say you're planning to invade when we're weak. He's trying to hold control, but there's talk of action. You need to be ready. The message ended. Voss looked at Mara. There's division in their ranks, and it's growing. Later, a smaller Zarn vessel detached from the fleet. It drifted closer than any ship had before. Unidentified Zarn ship moving toward us, a crew member called out. No sudden moves, Voss said. Let's see what they do. The alien vessel stopped a few hundred meters away. A hatch opened. A single escape pod launched, slow and cautious. It floated across space until it reached one of the human supply drones. The pod connected, took a shipment, then floated back. No weapons, no threats, just silent acceptance. Voss smiled slightly. They're reaching out, carefully, quietly, but not everyone on the Zarn side agreed. Hours later, another alert came. Commander, long-range scan shows internal power surges on two of their ships. Small but sharp. Explain, Voss said. Likely signs of arguments. Maybe even physical fights. The crew exchanged looks. It was clear the cracks in the Zarn fleet were growing. That night, Voss stood alone on the observation deck. The stars above looked the same as always, but something had changed in the space between these ships. We're not just helping, he said quietly to himself. We're being tested, watched, measured. Mara joined him. They're scared, she said, and prideful. They weren't ready to be the ones who needed help. Voss nodded, but some of them are opening up. Tevek, the ship that sent the pod. They're starting to see we mean no harm. Will it be enough? She asked. We'll find out, he said. But I believe it will. In the dark sky, the human and Zarn fleets floated side by side, still separate but no longer strangers. A line had been crossed, not in violence, but in silent trust. The silence between the fleets was breaking. Tensions in the Zarn ships were rising. Commander Alex Voss could feel it. Every hour brought new signs. Power spikes, internal signal scrambles, strange movement patterns. Something was brewing. We've tracked two Zarn vessels changing position, said Marlin. They've broken formation and are drifting closer to one of our cargo ships. Voss narrowed his eyes. Are they scanning us? No, no transmissions. Just drifting. Slowly. That didn't feel right. Alert the Mercer. Tell them to go to yellow status, he said. The Mercer was one of the smaller cargo ships in the human fleet. It carried emergency supplies and had only light defense systems. It wasn't built for combat. A few hours later, alarms rang through the Horizon Star. Breach alert. Mercer reports unauthorized docking attempt. By who? Voss asked. Zarn strike team. One of the rogue ships latched on. They're inside. Voss didn't hesitate. Scramble emergency team. I'm going over. Mara looked at him. Sir, it's dangerous. Exactly why I need to be there. No one fires unless I give the order. Voss crossed into the Mercer with a small team. The ship was tense. Red lights flashed. Crew members held back, unsure what would happen next. Down one of the main corridors, Voss saw them. 3 Zarn soldiers, armed but not shooting. They stood near the cargo hold. One of them barked something in their native tongue. Hold your fire. Voss called. No weapons. We're not here to fight. The Zarn soldier raised his weapon slightly, unsure. Then came another voice from behind them. Stop. It was Tevek. The young technician stepped into view, panting. This is not the way. The lead Zarn turned sharply. You dare speak for them? Tevek didn't flinch. They saved our people. I've seen the med units. I've eaten the food they sent. They are not our enemy. The soldier growled. You're weak. No, Voss said calmly. He's brave. He stepped forward, slowly. You came here thinking we'd strike back. You wanted to prove we were liars. But we didn't shoot. We're not going to. The Zarn looked confused, angry, but also uncertain. Your people are dying out there, Voss continued. We're the only ones offering to help. And we're still offering. The Zarn soldier lowered his weapon, slowly, then turned and walked back toward the dock. The others followed. No shots fired. Later, Tevek stayed behind on the Mercer. He sat with Voss in the empty mess hall. I don't know how much longer Kralek can hold control, Tevek admitted. Some still follow him, but others think he's lost his strength. Voss nodded. And you? I think strength is something different than I was taught. Just then, a new alert appeared on Voss's tablet. He frowned. A solar flare? No, Mara said over the comm. Worse. A solar storm. Big one. Fast-moving. It'll sweep through this sector in 6 hours. Shields won't hold unless we shelter. Voss stood quickly. The Zarn fleet, can they protect themselves? Not in their current state, Mara said. They'll be torn apart. Voss didn't wait. Signal Kralek. We need to speak. Now. Back on the Horizon Star, the main screen lit up. Kralek appeared. He looked tired, angry, and afraid. Why do you call again? He asked. A solar storm is coming. You've seen the readings. You can't survive it in your current condition. But there's a shelter station in the asteroid field nearby. We can guide both fleets there. You expect us to follow you into a trap? No, Voss said. I expect you to follow us to safety. Or stay and die. It's your choice. Kralek stared at him, then ended the transmission without a word. Voss turned to his crew. Prepare for evacuation. And set coordinates for the shelter station. Whether they follow or not, we move. The countdown to the storm had begun. The storm was coming fast. From the bridge of the Horizon Star, Commander Alex Voss watched the solar data scroll across the screen. A massive wave of energy was moving through the sector. Bright red streaks from the nearby sun flashed against the black sky. ETA for impact. Voss asked. 3 hours, Mara Lin replied. Once it hits, we'll lose outer shield control. Radiation levels will spike. Voss turned to the helm. Plot a course to Shelter Station 9. Broadcast the coordinates on an open channel. Include it in every language format we've got. The shelter was an old mining station tucked inside a thick asteroid field. It had no weapons but strong radiation shielding and solid hull walls, strong enough to protect both fleets. The human ships began moving in formation. Cargo vessels stayed at the center. Medical and engineering ships orbited tightly around them. Any response from the Zarn? Voss asked. Mara shook her head. Nothing yet. Voss sighed. We keep transmitting. Time passed. The storm crept closer. Solar wind was already bending light around them. The stars began to blur, glowing faintly red. Then a signal came through. This is General Kralek. The crew froze. We have received your coordinates. We are moving. Voss smiled. Outside, the massive Zarn ships shifted slowly, engines flaring weakly. One by one, they followed the human fleet. As the ships entered the asteroid field, the light of the storm lit up the rocks. The sky looked like it was on fire. Shelter Station 9 appeared ahead. Old and covered in asteroid dust, it still stood firm. The humans docked first. Then the Zarn ships followed, moving with care. Inside the station, emergency lights flickered on. Oxygen systems kicked in. Humans and Zarn moved through different sections, separated but safe. Then the storm hit. A wave of red light passed over the field. Radiation burst against the asteroid shield, but the station held. Power flickered, systems drained, but the hull stayed sealed. Hours passed. When the storm ended, the sky cleared. Space grew quiet again. In one of the central rooms of the station, Commander Voss met General Kralek face-to-face for the first time. The Zarn leader looked older than before. His eyes were tired, his armor scorched. "You saved my people," Kralek said. "We helped them survive," Voss replied. "You saved them when you chose to listen." Kralek stood silent for a moment. Then, slowly, he removed a sharp emblem from his armor, a black metal crest shaped like a flame. He handed it to Voss. "This is a symbol of honor in the Zarn Dominion. Few outsiders have ever seen it. No one has ever earned it." Voss accepted it with a nod. "Thank you." Around them, human engineers worked beside Zarn technicians, repairing power systems and sharing food packs. The air was tense, but no longer hostile. Voss walked to a nearby viewing window. He looked out at the quiet asteroid field, the stars now calm beyond the storm. "We survived," he whispered. Together, the solar storm had passed. The stars outside Shelter Station 9 glowed bright and clear again. Calm returned to space. Inside the station, the air felt different, lighter, less tense. The walls were still old, the lights still dim, but now there was peace. Commander Alex Voss stood in the main chamber. Around him, crews from both fleets worked together. Human engineers handed out portable power cells. Zarn technicians shared their own tech to repair damaged systems. No one shouted. No one argued. They worked side by side. General Kralek entered the chamber, walking with slow, steady steps. His armor was dented, his face worn, but his posture was proud. Voss turned to him. "Repairs going well?" Kralek nodded. "Your engineers are skilled, efficient, honest." He paused. "You proved me wrong, Commander." Voss smiled. "That was never my goal. I only wanted to help." Kralek looked out the window at the human and Zarn ships floating together. "We Zarn were raised to believe strength means never needing help. But you showed us a different kind of strength, one I had forgotten." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Kralek stepped forward and extended his arm. A Zarn warrior's salute. Voss gripped it. At that moment, something changed, not just between two men, but between two worlds. Later that day, a formal message was transmitted to both fleets. By agreement of the Global Space Alliance and the Zarn Dominion, a new path begins. One of cooperation, not conflict. Trust, not fear. What began as a rescue ends as an alliance. Cheers echoed through the corridors. On board the Horizon Star, Voss addressed his crew. "You all made history," he said. "You showed that even in the darkest moments, hope can lead. And sometimes, helping a stranger changes the future." Lieutenant Mara Lin grinned. "What now, sir?" Voss looked out at the stars. "Now," he said, "we go home, and we prepare to meet the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as allies." The human fleet and the Zarn ships undocked from Shelter Station 9. Side by side, they returned to open space. Where fear had once lived, now there's understanding. Where silence had ruled, now there was trust. Two civilizations that met in crisis now flew forward as partners.